Steve Zeltzer with United Public Workers for Action. We're here in front of the Commission on Teacher Credentialing in Sacramento to call on the Commission not to appeal the judgment in favor of Kathleen Carroll, who was a lawyer here at this Commission. She was harassed, bullied, and retaliated against for exposing the corruption at this agency, the cronyism, the backlog of over 10,000 credentials. And we believe that the people of California should not be paying to cover up the corruption that's going on at this Commission. We are demanding actually that they begin to prosecute some of the same people who are involved in conspiring to fire Kathleen Carroll and still working at this agency. Ref Rodriguez, who is a board member of the Commission on Teacher Credentials, is illegally sitting on the board here. He is a privatizer. He owns a charter chain in Los Angeles. He's been accused of corruption, setting up private businesses to profit himself. He has a charter school, and he's elected now member of the Board of Education, LAUSD, or a public member of the Commission on Teacher Credentials. And we're saying it's illegal. He's not a public member, and we think he should be removed. He should not have any vote here. But we think it's a symbol of the kind of systemic corruption, the lack of justice that is going on at this Commission. And Governor Brown, who is responsible for appointing most of the commissioners, and the Attorney General Kamala Harris should not be supporting this. They should not be using a penny more of tax money to continue an appeal of the judgment for Kathleen Carroll. And also they should not indemnify and pay for the personal judgment against Lee Pope and Mary Armtrong, who were counsel and chief counsel of this commission and acted with malice against Kathleen Carroll. And we're here to make a statement. We're going to continue this fight, and these public officials have to be held accountable when they violate the law, when they retaliate and bully people for speaking out and exposing corruption, financial mismanagement, what's going on here. We, the taxpayers and the people of California, the working people, should not be paying for this, and these people should be prosecuted.
I'm Carrie Clark with California Healthy Workplace Advocates, and I'm here today to support the judgment of a jury of 12 who took over a month to make a decision that Kathleen Carroll should be awarded for suffering retaliation as a whistleblower. We have several commissions in the state of California that are under close, intense scrutiny. It's very difficult to provide oversight for these commissions. The underling workers are the source of genuine information. Kathleen Carroll, like many other low-level whistleblowers, as was I myself, we are being treated like chicken littles. In fact, we're canaries in a coal mine, and we are being tortured for telling the truth. Kathleen Carroll went 6 years in this battle, and she suffered all sorts of losses. The people who retaliated against her, Mary Armstrong and Lee Pope, are attorneys. They knew the law. They knew that they were practicing retaliation. They knew that what was going on in the commission was untoward, malfeasant, mismanagement, nepotistic. It was not healthy for the state of California or for public education in our state. And there has been a movement within the commission to aid and abet the privatizers. We know that the privatization of public institutions is not a healthy move for our culture. It has not worked with hospitals, prisons, private universities, and many of the charter schools that are in our state are questionable, and it's questionable where the money goes when these people are paid the highest dollars in the state. We are putting out over 50% of our state revenues towards K-12 education, and we have to be very responsible what we do with this money and how we treat our children. We don't need to destroy the public schools. We need to continue to improve them and make them better for every child. Everyone is worth supporting. And if we continue to support people who are malfeasant in the workplace, we won't be focused in the right area. So it's time we rethink this. Low-level whistleblowers are extremely important. They tell the truth because they are coded within their brains to speak the truth. They don't have a choice. They have to stand up for the Constitution of the United States and the state of California. So it's important that we support her and we hold these individuals responsible. They're not going to jail. They're having to cough up a little portion of their extremely lucrative pensions that you and I as taxpayers in California continue to pay for. So it's really important that we get this on the road and we start here now. The teachers teach the children, and Kathleen has lent her life and her efforts to teaching the teachers what is good, right, fair, and just.
My name is Christy Akeem, and I live in San Francisco, and I'm a concerned citizen with a strong interest in public education. I'm here to urge the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing not to appeal the recent Superior Court jury decision awarding former CTC lawyer Kathleen Carroll $3.1 million in her case against CTC and 2 former staff members for unfairly terminating her after she blew the whistle on a massive backlog of teacher credentialing complaints and other mismanagement issues within the department. I further urge that the punitive fines against the former general counsel and former assistant general counsel of the CTC be upheld. These were her 2 superiors. By no means should these fines be charged to the taxpayer. Not only would this embolden mismanagement at other state agencies, but it would discourage conscientious public employees like Ms. Carroll from daring to speak out on agency wrongdoing. Ms. Carroll didn't pursue litigation just to settle scores or to make a bundle, but really to make things right in the way the CTC manages its credentialing system, especially in investigating cases of alleged teacher misconduct. It was about protecting students, it was about accountability, and it was about the right to blow the whistle without repercussions. I knew little about this case until I attended the last day of court before it went to the jurors. What became clear is that after Kathleen Carroll noticed that things were remiss and took initiative in getting the credential backlog addressed, instead of responding with a let's fix it attitude, her superiors defended the status quo, lied, and viciously attacked her, creating a climate of fear throughout the department. I was utterly shocked to hear how Ms. Carroll was maligned at every turn by her superiors, as revealed by the state attorney in his closing arguments. No employee should have to put up with such abuse, ever. Few public servants have the courage, integrity, and fortitude to do what Kathleen Carroll did at great personal cost. I urge the CTC to honor her by upholding the decision on her case and by not exonerating her then superiors for their abhorrent actions by charging the penalties to the taxpayer.
Any other commissioner reports? Commissioner Martin.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge to the commission that...
And just want to share a short personal story that sadly started off our school year. Because as we as educators need to also do self-care as much as taking care of our students. The second Monday of school, mom in a small community still, we have 3 high schools. And a good friend of mine who was a teacher, I worked with him in CTA events, and the principal, very well liked, very well known, very involved, never behind the desk. Left Monday for lunch, went out in the country and killed himself. The aftermath that left on our district, not only from the staff standpoint, but from students, pretty much has been taking over the last 2 weeks of the beginning of the high school. Once again, it brings to me the forefront that there's never enough resources for our students, as well as our staff. Luckily, we've had more resources from our local behavioral health in the last few years, sadly because of all the tragedies that have been out there. But it just really continues to make me realize I'm very, everyone needs to take care of themselves, everybody needs to look out, but it's been a rough start. And trying to have these students, some of these students who had him in junior high and high school focus, as well as many of us who worked with him, it's so just be aware, you never know what someone's going through. And I'm really, as we get to revising the PPS standards for the credentialing, I think it's crucial because we have some counseling interns and then also some social work interns who haven't really had a whole lot of in their curriculum and their programs, a whole lot dealing with social, emotional, suicide, mental health, all the things that we're facing in schools. So it's really important, I think, that we get to the work on revising those standards. So not to be a downer, but it's real, it's out there, and your students, K through higher ed, as well as anybody you know, could be suffering. So I just want everyone to see, hopefully your district or your school side is doing something about suicide awareness. And if they're not, then you need to be.
I am Carrie Clark with a C. I am the co-founder of the California Healthy Workplace Advocates, and I have addressed some of you in the past. I too am a whistleblower. I have walked in Kathleen Carroll's shoes. I have given everything and lost it all. I have a 20-year background teaching in Canada, China, and the United States at the secondary and university levels. But when I saw malfeasance, mismanagement, and out-and-out corruption at a local school board, I could not be quiet. According to Howard Gardner, those of us who are whistleblowers are hardwired. We can't not whistleblow. Since my wellness program has included the California Healthy Workplace Advocates, I've met scores of whistleblowers. I've met whistleblowers in DMV, one who knew why those illegal driver's license helped bring down the World Trade Center. I have met PG&E whistleblowers who have talked about a 5% software bump on the charges implanted by a group of people from other countries. I have met people from the Department of Corrections. Our public, when harassment is legal as long as it's not discriminatory. And though I'm not formally teaching, I taught this to Congressman Garamendi on Monday at the Labor Day picnic. And he was quite shocked to find out that in fact harassment is legal, but retaliation is not. It was defined by the Supreme Court, and those who retaliated against Kathleen Carroll were general counsel. They knew what they were doing, and they did it feeling as if they had impunity. And this is happening throughout our culture. But there are many people who are finally speaking up. California has 300 commissions, boards, and agencies, and the general public is watching very closely. And this is the commission that sets the standard. You're the people who help the teachers, and the teachers are crying for help, which is why we have a shortage of teachers now. The kids don't want to go into teaching because teachers are treated badly, and when they're treated badly, they don't get any reinforcement. I came with the person from the next district where my perpetrator went. We came to this board and we asked for help, and we didn't get any, and he went on and he hurt more people in Hillmar at San Mateo. So we don't know where to go for help. And if we speak up, there's retaliation. And now we're seeing a movement towards privatization. And anytime you put a profit margin inside of an industry that's generally set for the public, you are asking for problems. Private prisons are going down. We used to have county-run hospitals. Now our private hospitals are creaming us of our money. We know that the private schools are questionable. We have to, the private charter schools, we have to watch how they're getting money and where is that money going. Is it staying inside the United States or is it leaving? Watch out, who's teaching Sharia law? I don't have anything against Sharia law, but this does not belong in our schools.
Steve Zeltzer, United Public Workers for Action. We had a report here about a teacher committing suicide, and I take that very seriously. Why in California are teachers committing suicide? What kind of conditions do we have for public workers, for teachers, when they commit suicide? Well, the reality is that teachers, and particularly public workers, are under tremendous stress and attacks. And that's not just at a local school district, but right here in this commission, and with the employees here at this commission. CTC has a record of bullying, workplace bullying, and harassing and terrorizing employees. Diane Mansker, who was a member of SEIU 1000, was driven out, forced to retire early. The management here has been doing this for years and years, and many of you who were on the board approved the firing of Kathleen Carroll, a whistleblower, a lawyer, who spoke out about the backlog, who spoke out about the cronyism, who spoke out about the corruption. Kathleen went to the Darrell Steinberg, who's now the mayor, he was senator, and asked for an audit, a state audit. All of you should read the state audit. The state audit confirms that there was a culture of corruption here, of cronyism, of lack of democratic process for the workers at this commission. And before she reported to the legislature, she was terminated. The jury unanimously voted that not only was she illegally terminated and should get her back wages, but Armstrong, Mary Armtrong, who was the chief counsel, and Lee Pope, who was assistant chief counsel, should be punished by paying some money personally. $190,000 for Mary Armstrong and $130,000 for Lee Pope. And they want you now to vote today to indemnify them. For you, the taxpayer, not you, but the taxpayer, to pay for their wrongdoings. This is absolutely wrong. People have to be held responsible. If you or I do something illegal, we have to be held accountable and responsible. That's what the jury did in awarding Kathleen $3,100,000. So another point. If you appeal this, what is the cost? Kathleen is a heart plant survivor. She lost her health care. She's in dire need. Are you going to vote to appeal it so she can't even take care of herself? Is that what you're going to do? If you appeal this judgment, which is likely to be upheld by the court, it costs $310,000 a year. There's a 10% penalty. So who's going to pay that? $310,000 every year you appeal it. The taxpayer of California. So we have a serious systemic problem in California, as other people have said, with whistleblowers being retaliated against for doing their job, for being conscientious. You cannot really, doing your job, allow this to continue. You should not appeal the decision of the court and the jury, and you should say that this has to end, and you should really apologize to Kathleen Carroll and the other workers who have been harassed and bullied at this agency. Very concerned about the accreditation of the teachers in California, and we think that the deregulation of education, which has gone on in California through charter schools, through homeschooling, is leading to a situation in which you have unqualified teachers teaching kids. And one of the problems with deregulation is we don't know who they are. We don't know who they are. They're home schools, people are being taught in their homes. Who are these teachers? Are they qualified? How many are there? You know, we need to get that kind of information so we have an idea of what is going on in our schools. And with the deregulation of the charter schools, people are not fully credentialed. This is leading to a deprofessionalization of education in California, in these primary schools. And we think it has to be addressed and confronted because we need the highest qualified, in our view, highest qualified professional teachers teaching our children in California schools. They deserve that, and they need that to have a professional education. You end up having to give more and more money to these companies, like Pearson. Pearson has been investigated in New York and other states for corruption. They paid off boards of education to get contracts. I'm actually against Pearson getting any contract with the state of California. I think it should be canceled, frankly. And I think that in California, we should emulate what's happening in Finland. And if you study that, you see that in Finland, the teachers are the ones doing the testing. They don't have to have outside companies doing that. The teachers know their students. The teachers are the best people to understand what's happening in the schools as far as testing. And I think that's the direction we need to go in California if we're going to really advance education and not spend more and more money on testing companies like Pearson and others who benefit with more and more testing. And that is what they're interested in, frankly, is more profit. priorities and not the education of our children.